Before the video starts, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Darkblade and CoolMool237 for subscribing to this channel. Remember, if you want a shout out, just write I subbed in the comments and I'll be sure to give you a shout out in one of my future videos. Alright, let's get on with the tutorial. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to part 3 in my new series on how to make a fishing game here on Scratch. Now, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, I recommend that you start there because although you might get some use out of this tutorial, it's a continuation of the previous tutorials. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to add a start screen and a game over screen. Alright, let's get into the tutorial. Okay, first thing that you need to do is open the project that we've been working on in the last few tutorials, and that's this fishing game. Next, delete the Time's Up sprite because that was just temporary, and today we're going to be adding a real game over screen. Then we're going to make a new variable called GameID, and what this variable is going to do is it's basically going to be like the governor for what mode the game is going to be in. Like GameID 1 is going to be the start screen, GameID 3 is going to be the game over screen, yada yada yada. Then we're going to go to the stage and say when go clicked, set GameID to 1 because we want it to switch to the start screen. Then what we're going to do is go to the fish and we're going to go to this code, the code that moves it, and we're going to wrap this in a forever loop. An if statement, not that code, all of this code. And then I'm going to say if game ID equals 2, so if it's in the game screen, then do all this code. Okay. And also we need to make some room for this code that we're going to be putting when go clicked forever. If game ID equals 2, show else hide. So right now it's not going to show because right now the game ID is supposed to be 1. So it's not going to show it during the start screen, which is what we want. Then we're going to copy that code to all the other sprites. Let's just check if it's in here. It's in there, good. It's in there, good. And it's in there. Alright, next we're going to go to the timer sprite and we're going to remove the broadcast message. It's just temporary, as I said. Then we're going to add a set block. We're going to say set game ID to 3, and that's going to be the game over screen. Then we're going to wrap 2 if statements around this. If. Then we're going to put an equals sign. If game ID equals 2. If game ID equals 2. Boom. So now the timer won't start until the game starts, which is what we want. We don't want the timer to go even when the start screen's going. Alright, now let's get the actual start screen because right now we've just cleared the entire screen of everything so we can get the start screen ready. But right now let's get the actual start screen. We're going to paint a new sprite, go to text, make it any color you want. I'll choose green. Make it any text you want. I'll make it handwriting because I feel like it. But in my demo project I use serif, but you could use anything. And I'm gonna use handwriting. And I'm going to quickly speed it up right now. So I'll come back to you when I'm somewhere near finished. Okay, so I'm all finished with my text. Now I'm going to go around to coding my thing. So we're going to take this piece of code right over here, and we're going to copy that to this code, and I'll just rename the start menu. Oops, start menu. And instead of game ID equals 2, we're going to say game ID equals 1. Alright, let's test it out now. And as you can see, it's just static, and it's just a start screen that stays still. It doesn't really do anything. But that's really not what we want. In my other game, it had an effect where it would float up and down. So how do we do that? Well, it's gonna require some math. But before you click out, not that much math. Just the sign and the timer. Alright, so I'm just gonna break this down real slow for you. So it's like, we first get on a minus block, and we say -0. Then we get a times. Then you say times 10. Then you get this new block called apps of. And we don't want the absolute values, so we're going to change it from abs to sine. You can also change it to cosine, but I'll change it to sine. Then we're going to get another times. In the second block, we're going to do 100. Oh, not 1,000, that'd be a bit too much. And in the sensing, we're going to get out the timer. Now what the timer does is, as you can see, it's just a timer that keeps track of the time. And if we reset it, it just keeps track of the time. So I'll hide that, and I'm going to say timer. And we can do multiple things with this. I mean, it doesn't do anything on its own, but we could set Y and we can set X. Now I'm going to do the set X first. And set X does that, but that's not the effect I had because it's moving left and right. So let's do set Y now. And that's the effect that I had. And if we do set Y and X together, it does that. But obviously we want to set Y. And the beauty of this is that you can change this value so it can go lower. So if you do a positive number, because this is a minus, if you subtract a positive number, it's going to go lower. But if you subtract a negative number, then it's going to go higher, because minus minus equals plus. But I'll just switch it to 0 to illustrate a point. Okay, and as you can see, the start screen works all good, but here we got tap to begin, and when I tap, you may be able to hear me. It doesn't do anything, so we need to be able to sort that out next. So what we're going to do is duplicate the script, and we're going to delete this floating code. Then we're going to say if mouse down anywhere on the screen, then we're going to set the game ID to 2. Alright, let's test it out. And as you can see, it works all good. Everything does what it's supposed to be doing. Alright, now you've seen these variables right over here. And they're kind of useful, but they really don't look that good. I mean, we got score right over here in this, and this orange area where it shows a number. It's useful, but I'd really like a different way of showing this score. So there are 2 ways to remedy this problem. One way is you could just make a new sprite and just code all the score stuff into that new sprite. That takes a bit of programming and accuracy to get that, but it's still nice. The second way is what we're gonna do, and that's what I did in my demo project. Is that the score is actually a part of this orange area, and that looks a lot better than this way. Now, the reason why I didn't do it for the lives is because of some odd glitch. So that's why I'm only doing it for the score. So we're going to go to the stage. Then we're going to say when goal clicked. We're going to make a new variable called join score. We're going to say forever set join score to. Now I don't know if we've talked about these, but there's this block called join. What it will do is it will join 2 things together. It will join 2 inputs together to create an output that joins the 2. If we were to do F space G, then it would just do F space G. And this join block goes well with just static inputs. It also goes well with variables. And that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to say score, colon, space, then the score variable, and we're going to set join score to that. And right now, the join score shows up, so it's not really any good because this white part is still showing. But if we control click or right click on it and switch it to large readout, the score word is now a part of this orange box, and we can hide the score variable, and we can do that. Oop. And the score still works. It's not like the score stopped working. I mean, it still works, but it's just in this better fashion. Alright, now let's create the game over screen. We're first going to paint a new sprite again, and I will fast forward this section again. Okay, now let me just put an outline on this right here. And that's pretty much it for the game over screen. The art of the game over screen. Now what we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna hide this. Gonna make this grow a little bit. We don't want it to be too small. So that's that. Okay. Bring this down a little bit. Okay. Now we're done with the game over screen art. Alright, now it's code. We're going to be making a new variable called high score. Now, if you can, tick this cloud variable option. Now, why am I saying if you can? Well, it's because the cloud variable option only comes for scratchers. If it's not coming for you, then you might be a new scratcher. And it's no big deal, but in order to become a scratcher and use cloud variables, you need to become more noticed in Scratch, get followers, comment on other people's projects, of course nice ones, etc., etc. And that's going to take some time, so if you don't have this option, you can just make this variable for all sprites, or you can just skip this part and not do a high score at all. But I have it, so I'm going to click on the cloud variable option and click OK. And it's going to give you some information about cloud variables. This is just saying that it supports numbers, not letters or symbols. Not really important for the purposes of this tutorial, but when you make databases, it comes in handy. So, and you click the X and it'll go away, or it will automatically go away. Alright, let's go get on to coding the game over sprite. We're first going to say when goal clicked forever if chances is less than 1. You could say lives is less than 1. Now, you could say lives equals 0, but it just glitches a lot like that, so I use lives is less than 1. If lives is less than 1, then set game ID to 3. Boom. Now we're gonna duplicate this code and bring it over here. It didn't duplicate for some reason. I'm going to duplicate this code and put it in there. Pretty good. Now instead of game ID equals 1, then we set game ID equals 3. And what we're also going to do is duplicate this code, basically all the code there is. Why does this code not duplicate? Okay, there we go. Huh? That's atypical. Okay, there we go. It took a little while, but I think it's because the start menu was on the right side and this was all the way on the bottom, so it just didn't carry it on. Okay, so there's this tap to restart button right here, but right now it doesn't restart. Like if we get game over, first of all we need to hide. Like if we get game over, if this timer goes all the way down, so let's just wait. 3, 2, the game over screen displays, but if we tap, it doesn't restart. So what we need to do is set game ID to 2, but also we need to set the timer. We need to set the timer to 20 because right now the timer is 0 and it's not going to restart if the timer is 0 and still remains at 0. So we got to set it back to 20. And then we're going to set the score to 0. And we're going to set the lives to 5 once again. Boom. Now let's try. You might want to, just for a tester code, you might just want to set the timer to a lower amount. Just makes it so that you don't waste 20 seconds of time just by doing this. Boom. And now if we do that, everything's reset. Okay. Oops. Actually, I need to do that here. Okay, we're on the game over screen right now, and I can set the timer to 20. Now, you've noticed that there's this you scored and then the high score is. But right now there's nothing there because we haven't put anything there. So what we're going to do is switch this to large readout and put the high score right there next to the high score and show the score and switch it to large readout. It will need to show, and that's for the game over. Oops. And we need to put that in front of you scored. Next, go to the backdrops, then say, this is for the high score script. We're going to say when go clicked forever if score is greater than the high score, then we're going to set the high score to the score. Now, that might seem a bit like confusing to you, but it's basically really simple. If what you scored is greater than that high score, than the previous high score is, then it's just gonna change the high score to whatever that user scored, the new high score. Okay. Now we're gonna say when go clicked forever if game ID equals 3. So if the game over is received, we might actually need an if else here. If the game ID equals 3, then show variable score and then show variable high score. Otherwise, it's going to hide the variable score and it's going to hide the variable high score. Now, one more thing to notice here. There's this lives right here. I really don't want that, but I also can't do a join lives because of the glitch that happened to me. It's like really weird. It just shows 5 and then decimal and then 5.00000. It does that. It's a weird glitch. I don't know why that happens. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a new sprite. I'll call it lives sprite. And I'm just going to draw a few tally marks. Is that really... Why not? So I'm just going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And I'm just going to draw a little box around that. Okay, so that's, and this is going to be for the live sprite. Actually need to hide the lives. This is going to be for all of your 5 lives are still there. And I'm going to rename this to 5. And I'm just going to remove, oh, what happened there? I'm not going to do tallies actually. I'm going to do straight up blocks for lives, not tallies. Okay, there we go. So that's our lives, and I might just wanna. No, that's good. And for that, I'll rename it 4. And I'm just gonna take one off of that. I'll rename that 3. I'll take one off of that. I'll rename that one 2. I'll take one off of that. I'll rename that one 1, and I will take one off of that. And I am going to name that 0, and I'm going to take one off of that. Okay. And I might want to decrease the size of that or shrink that. I'll have them go there. And we're going to do some code here. We're going to say when Go clicked forever, and this is a neat little trick I picked up from somewhere. Switch costume to the lives. So essentially what it's going to do is it's going to find out if the lives are, let's say, 3. It's going to find what costume name is 3, and it's going to switch to that costume, which happens to be this 3rd costume. So now let's test it out. And we can bring the score up here. Okay. And I got that. But if I miss it, what happened there? I think I know what happened there. You're supposed to have these. You're supposed to have the live sprite in ascending order. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. All right, now let's test it out. And as you can see, it works perfectly. All right, let's test it out now. So if you press the green flag, then as you can see, there's a nice little start screen. And if we tap to begin, the score goes up, and it's that nice little join score effect. And let's say we missed this one, the lives should go down, and the lives goes down. The lives went down again, and 3, 2, 1, and boom. So the score is 14, and the high score is also 14. We beat our previous high score, so it would reset it. And yeah, that's it for this tutorial. And there's also a tap to restart. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention in the video was that the live sprite costumes, they have to be in ascending order, but also the 0 costume has to be at the very end. This is really important, and if you don't do this, it's not going to work. Also, I tweaked up the code a little bit here. So before, I had this be just this. But if you add this switch costume 0, it's gonna work even better. So it's gonna switch costume 0, and then it's gonna switch costume to lives. So I recommend you do this. It's gonna work better. And also for the fish code, I tweaked this change lives bit. Before it was change lives by -0.3, but then I realized the live sprite is only 5 lives, and there are no decimal points. So I switched the change lives by -0.3 to change lives by -1 because it just works better like that. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please leave a like down there. I really appreciate it. And also, if you have the time, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a new video. In part 4, we're going to be learning how to make a shop and a few extra features as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Goodbye!